Okay, are we back? Welcome back, everyone. I hope this is working now. We had a bit of a technical problem in the previous live stream where it ended, but let me know if you can hear me here well and if everything is functioning properly. Let's make sure everything's up and running from here. It looks like we're fine. I hope you can hear me well. Can everyone hear me well? Okay, perfect. Lovely. All right. Welcome back. Thank you. And sorry about the whatever that was. So where were we even? Where were we? Someone remind me, where were we? We spoke about the Iran. Obviously, we spoke about the ICC. We spoke about the IDF. We spoke about the further problems about the precedent. And yeah, I mean, you can reshare anything you shared before so we can continue from there, if you wouldn't mind, because obviously the previous live stream, let me have a look if I still have access to the live chat that we had from there. Let me have a look. No, there is no live chat there. Yeah, okay. So we'll continue from here. Where were we? Khubza 89, thank you so much. You reminded me where we were. And yes, please, everyone keep sharing so we can move on to the following comments and questions after this. We were talking about the precedent, the legal precedent. So if the ICC prosecutor is criminalizing the Palestinian resistance, then tomorrow you're going to criminalize something else. And where I reach, and this is where we were cut, okay? I spoke about how in the beginning of this war, when some people were legitimizing Israeli action, how in effect, if you legitimize the act, you're legitimizing it. That's it. You're legitimizing it against yourself as well. Many people in the beginning, okay, let's say they bought all of the pseudo narrative about the 7th of October and all of the lies that were debunked later on, but they bought it. Okay, then you go and do 30-fold against the Palestinian people. All right, so what does that say? Do you deserve that against you then? Do your people deserve to be massacred? Do your cities deserve to be leveled like Gaza? Is that what you deserve? Is that what you're saying by your actions? Right? That's why it's very dangerous. You can't set such a dangerous precedent. Its impact is global. But again, this proves time after time that these institutions, there's a limit to what they do. There's a limit to what they say. There are political motives behind them. And most of all, when it comes to enforcement, because the UN has lots of resolutions that anyone can consider to be nice, right? Nice resolutions, and resolutions confirming the right of the Palestinian people to return, the right of the Palestinian people to have a state, the right of the Palestinians to resist, but everything is ink on paper. So it is a massive problem. Gullyberg is saying, will Netanyahu's allies turn back on him after the arrest warrant? Look, Benjamin Netanyahu is already starting to be secluded slowly but surely. As a matter of fact, it's beyond Benjamin Netanyahu now. It's about Israel. It's about Israel as a country, and that's important because it's what Israel is committing now in Gaza isn't purely just Benjamin Netanyahu. It's a country. It's the country of Israel, doing what it does best, massacring people, ethnically cleansing people. That's what Israel was established on. So now many countries are viewing this as a thing that is beyond Benjamin Netanyahu. It's beyond Benjamin Netanyahu. It isn't just him. Because even if you talk about the opposition to Benjamin Netanyahu now, so let's talk about Benny Gantz saying similar things. Benny Gantz is saying, we don't want a Palestinian state. As a matter of fact, Yair Lapid is saying we don't want a Palestinian state. The same man who worked in the media for over 20 years, 2 decades, and then said after the war that, the media cannot be objective. Being objectives mean you support the Hamas. What kind of a world do we live in? And that was from Gullyberg. And what else do we have? Francis Fitzgerald is saying, will Iran still support Hamas now that the president is dead? Absolutely. And look, there were even reports about Iran supporting even before the revolution in 1979. However, since the revolution in 1979, this support has been unconditional. And it goes beyond parties or political organizations, because they support it based on their belief. They support it as a moral principle, and they pay the price for their support. It's easier not to support. It's easier not to support the Palestinian cause when it comes to countries. That's why many of them are quiet. There's lots of money involved, financial benefits, recognition, lots of stuff. So of course it will continue, because Iran is an established country. It has institutions. It's not a country where if the president dies, you have chaos. It's based on systems. You have the Shura Council, you have the Supreme Council, you have 2 armies in effect in Iran. So they will obviously continue the support, and they confirmed that everything will remain intact. Evolution uploads saying they want everyone to go through the international courts, but the issue that they don't resolve anything through these international courts, it takes a very long time. Yes, that's another very important point, because if you don't talk about, if you don't implement what's happening in the international court, and then you saw what happened to the ICJ, order against Israel by the highest court to stop committing acts of genocide. What does that say? That says that they're a genocidal state. That's number one. Secondly, it's ordering them to stop committing acts of genocide. Why? Because Israel is a signatory to the Geneva Genocide Convention. But they don't recognize the ICC. It's different. But if they are signatories to parts of the legislation, then they're bound by it. Similar to the US. They don't recognize the jurisdiction of the ICC, but they're signatories to over 80, I think, of these conventions. And that's why the US was, and other countries were worried about, because many of them obviously recognize the ICJ, and they're also signatories. So they don't want to be deemed as countries that are participating in a genocide. This is where the case was effective to an extent. Where it wasn't effective is the most important thing, preventing the genocide. Did not prevent the genocide. You had more people being murdered, more people being slaughtered in Gaza, over 10,000, since Israel was ordered by the ICJ to stop committing acts of genocide in Gaza. The only difference is, afterwards, Israel started saying, we are not committing acts of genocide, and we are working in accordance with international law. That's the only difference that you had afterwards. Someone is saying, I missed the coup attempt news. Okay. If you look through the initial video after we finish, you will see all of the details. Okay, where were we? Conrad John saying, what's your thoughts on the Israeli-Iranian weapons deals post 79 during Iran-Iraq war? I don't know how much about it. Was literally just reading about it before the stream started. There was a leak about potential weapons being delivered to Iran from Israel. Iran Gate, I'm not sure what was titled exactly at the time. It could have happened potentially. When obviously Iran denied it from their part. Israel surely wouldn't want to admit it. Imdad Kaz is saying, Mahmoud brother, what's the time for live streaming? I in the last couple of days I did them a little bit earlier so that I can cover a couple of topics during the live stream. So it would remain between 9 to 10. I usually do them at 10 o'clock, but it will remain between 9 to 10 o'clock. Oms is saying, question, will the Abrams be eating Yasin 105 in Gaza when the chariots are all sent to hell? I do not think, personally, that the United States is interested to send boots on ground in Gaza. I personally don't think so. They can. It's not that they cannot. However, if you take a couple of things into consideration, okay, so let's ask, when would be the time that the US will send its own forces to protect Israel? When would that be? Okay. Last minute scenario? What is the last minute scenario? Israel's been in one of its longest, bloodiest, and most dangerous wars, if not the most dangerous war ever since its establishment, according to Israeli officials. Many people are saying in Israel that we are fighting the war of independence. Again, this is 1948. Okay, if the Israelis are saying that, then why doesn't the US support them now? Does that mean they're willing to give them up? and just send them weapons? Valid question. So what is the last minute for the US? There could be a genuine argument that the US will potentially till the last second supply them with whatever they need to protect themselves and do something, so long as they can sustain it, so long as they can conduct this on their own, but not the US getting involved. Because again, before any war, this is what many people need to understand. Before you go to war, you need a pretext. You need to justify it. You need to convince people that we must go to war. What can the United States government, what can the US administration, someone tell me, give to the American public to convince them that it's worth it for your children to go and die for Israel? What? With all of these protests going on, with all of this chaos, who can be convinced? If the Israeli army itself is incapable, unwilling, demoralized, and defeated, would America go and fight for them? Now? If you spoke about a different war, even though, didn't really happen, one of the most recent wars, you know what I mean? Obviously, the US supports Israel with arms and what have you, and with the 1973 war, they supported them massively. But sending US troops to fight on Israel's behalf, I don't think that's going to happen. Talal is saying, could it be the Mossad interfered with a helicopter in Azerbaijan or hit it with laser technology? Look, I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised because it was very ambiguous. 3 helicopters, this rapid weather change, because I spoke about the forecast yesterday. And in the forecast, everything was normal, like 7 to 17, 9 to 17, no snow, maybe a bit of fog. Then all of a sudden, this dramatic shift in the weather. So did they not know? It would be a massive failure from Iran as a country to not anticipate this weather, right? And then the weather forecast disappearing on the 19th. Suspicious stuff. And again, it could well be. And that was the last one. Let's wrap it up there in that case. If you obviously haven't been with us from the beginning, we had a bit of a technical issue in the middle. Go ahead and watch the first part of this live stream. You'll see all of the topics that we spoke about from the beginning. I followed it up with this live stream to continue from where we left off. And you can obviously see all of the details that were in the title. Apart from that, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for all of your comments and input. And take care, and hopefully I'll be with you very soon with another video. Take care.